Hey, what is up guys? I am James Malins, the Wisdom Guide, and welcome back to episode number 19 of the Wisdom for Humanity podcast series. On this podcast series, we help you to go from your present state to your desired state through wisdom, knowledge, and real life experiences. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the connection between nature, or more importantly, the conscious connection between nature. Now, I don't have to turn around to you and say that, well, if you're like me, you're probably going to find nature an amazing thing to be out in. And I'm not just talking about the grass and the trees, but everything. You know, whether it comes to the seaside, going down to the beach, being out in the sea and swimming in the sea, or going to canyons and caves, or going out to deserts and things like that. Wherever it is, you love to be there. And that's because of the energy that nature ends up bringing us. Mother Nature, Gaia, the earth, whatever it is you want to call it, the energy that it provides us with is absolutely essential. And you see, because of our conventional way of thinking through science and schooling and teaching and media, we have not been told the actual systems that nature has to flourish us, to nourish us. There are actually energy systems called ley lines, and when you actually do your research, I'm not going to be providing too much information here, mainly because I need to do my own research and look better into them, but this is going to be something you really want to take away from this episode right here, is actually researching on ley lines. Now, if you aren't a member of Gaia, then I highly recommend that you become a member of Gaia, because it is literally the Netflix of spirituality. It provides you with things from scientifically proven connections between the mind and the universe and other things that are out of our understanding currently with quantum science and quantum physics, and it also helps you understand nature and the connections better, and also people who are mediums, clairvoyants, people who are telekinetic, people who are telepathic, and all these other really interesting subjects that you're going to want to have a look into. You know, if you think like, this sounds like some geeky science stuff, then trust me, you know, you want to look into it, you want to do your research, and you want to have a look at these different aspects of life, because you might just find that you actually have these abilities as well. Anyway, talking about ley lines are energetic pathways that run through the earth. Okay, animals follow them. If we are on specific ley lines, then we end up actually getting differences in our human anatomy. You know, people can have cancer if they're on the wrong ley line. There have been reports where women have actually been sleeping on the literally on the wrong side of the bed across an energy ley line, and they've had cancer multiple times. And this is what we have to have a look at. We have to look at every single different aspect of life, and not just what we've been told in this present moment by the media and by other people who are controlling it and only allowing you to see specific aspects of life. Because the reason being is, even if we're not going to be talking about global warming, right, if you actually look at the conscious connection between nature, we and a lot of people on this planet just want to love and share that appreciation for nature. You know, if you're like me, you see a bee on the floor, you want to scoop that bee up and put it onto the pot, you know, give it some water, give it some honey or whatever, and give it something that's going to help it to have more energy to get to do what it wants to do. And that's an important thing. You know, I often go on my walks, and if I see plastic and I've got a bag with me, I'm going to pick that plastic up, you know, because it's not just our planet, it's the animals' planet, it's nature's planet, it's the plants' planet, you know. This home that we have, and I'm not just talking about the four walls that you're living in, this home that we have is home to more things than just human beings. And when we understand that, we realise that we have to put the effort in. You know, we've got to put the effort in to realise that this planet isn't just ours for the taking, it's other people's and other animals and other beings' planets for the taking. So one of the things that I always find is really good to increase this connection between yourself and the earth and nature is actually earth walking. Now, earth walking is an amazing thing because it actually gives your body and gets rid of these negative toxins in your body and actually provides your body with the nutrients and ions that it needs to function at a really high rate. And I actually find that when I do the earth walking and I go out there and I walk on the earth and I actually feel the grass and the dirt and the earth between my feet, I feel a hell of a lot better if I'm feeling a little bit weird or a little bit drowsy or whatever over the day and things like that, because I actually notice that I feel not only more connected on an esoteric level, but more connected on an actual physical level. So my body just feels differently, and it feels like I'm just on a whole new existence just from going out on earth walking. And honestly, go and try it. You know, literally go and try it. Don't just take my word for it. Go and try it for yourself and find out for yourself exactly how it can change and improve your life. And trust me, like, it's going to do it on levels that you don't even know right now. Like, honestly. And Another thing I want to bring up is the fact that when you go out in life, it's such a stress relieving thing to do. If you actually walk along and you see the trees and the bushes and the flowers and things, and even the animals, you might come across a squirrel or something, you will realise how beautiful the creation of this life actually is. When you realise that, you start to think to yourself, what are problems? What are problems? What are our difficulties? What are things that make us feel bad? Are they really that important? And when you start to get to that point where you ask yourself, are they really that important? Like, whew, things start to massively change for you, because things that were an issue in the past are no longer an issue. And that, to me, once you reach that kind of level where those things aren't an issue to you, that's just an absolutely beautiful thing. And it's really important that we have a look at that, because it just brings us back to earth, right? The phrase brings you back down to earth. Well, it brings you back to a place where you feel better. You don't feel so claustrophobic. You don't feel so icky and disgusting and like you're just going into this toxic energy all the time, because that right there, and you can probably hear the birds. I don't know how sensitive my mic is right now, but you can probably hear the birds outside, because I always have the windows open. Even if I'm inside and around constant electronic objects, I always have the windows open, because I like to feel that connection. I like to feel that connection with nature and hearing the sounds, even if it's the rain. The rain to me is just absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's a really important thing. And why am I talking about this? Why am I telling you about this connection with nature and understanding this process? I'm talking to you about it because when you actually feel it, okay, you feel that connection with nature, you feel that beauty between yourself and nature, what you notice is that it changes your perspective. Alright, it changes your perspective, the way you see things, the way you perceive things. Alright, the way they approach you in your mind and in your thought process. And even if you actually end up going and searching native Indian teachings out in America, you'll notice that even through all of their teachings, it's heavily connected with what's outside of them in the nature. Now, I know I always talk about what's inside, but when you build that connection outside in the right way, you will find it to be very, very fruitful. And they talk about the Earth Mother, the Sky Father, and they talk about these different processes. I'm still learning myself, so again, I'm not going to go too deep into it, because I'll just be telling you stuff that I need to sort out myself. But one interesting teaching is that because they live outside often, they live out in the wilderness, they have a whole different respect for it. They have a whole different understanding, a whole different respect for what's out there. And I think that if we start to adopt that way of thinking more, doesn't mean you have to be religious, doesn't mean you have to be super spiritual. And I'm trying to cater this for everybody. But even if you adopt that teaching and that lesson, that understanding, what you actually start to feel is that you've got more options. Some people are sat there right now and you're listening to this and you don't do anything with your life, you don't know what you enjoy, you don't know what to do. And that's just an amazing thing to start to find out. Maybe walking, maybe being out in nature is the biggest and best thing for you. And guess what? Maybe you're the next David Attenborough. Maybe you're going to be, I don't know, Sally Attenborough or Joseph Attenborough. I don't know. But you could be the next person that teaches us about this world, shows us about the beauty of everything that goes on around us. And trust me, it's only your passion that's going to stop you from getting to where it is you want to be. And I often meditate outside. A lot of people would recommend meditating inside because you've got no distractions, you can't hear the noises. But once you get used to it, alright, once you get used to that environment and being in that place at that time, you start to feel like nothing else matters around you. You're not enclosed in four walls. You're not enclosed in this environment constantly 24/7 over and over and over again. And you start to feel a little bit differently because what's around you. And just even to go on the conscious connection between nature, I have a dog. I've got a couple of dogs. One of them's my parents. But, why am I telling you that? Because some of you who have and have not got dogs, you'll understand the reason of why I'm bringing this up. It's because the love I feel for my dog is just absolutely phenomenal. When I know he's a different way of experiencing life. He's alive and he loves to play. He loves to do things. Watching him is so interesting because of the way he perceives his own life. He doesn't think because they don't think in a language. So therefore, they're not thinking about, what am I doing tomorrow or next week or last week? And they're not thinking about all these thoughts that make their mind go super erratic and fast. They're just thinking about where they are right now in this moment. And that to them is a beautiful thing. And I think we have a lot to learn from that. We've got a lot to learn from that. And you will find if you actually go outside in nature and you stop and you just listen and you be, that there are a lot of lessons out there. There's a lot of knowledge, there's a lot of wisdom out there. And you'll find that, even if you're watching a sunset or a sunrise, just things will click into place for you. And when things click into place for you, you'll find that You just see things differently. And this is the important thing, it's all about seeing things differently, because some of you are in places right now that you don't want to be in. Places that make you feel terrible, places that make you feel like you're just constantly in a rut and in a dark hole. And that's changeable. It's changeable, it is. And you see, another really important thing to realise is borders. Right? Borders to me are the most bizarre thing in this world, because yes, there are different cultures, yes, there are different beliefs, yes, there are different laws that govern different countries, but think about it. What are borders? Why do we have them? Because when we look at life and what's outside of our problems and our ideas and our thought processes, you'll find that a lot of the basic concepts are very similar. Loving each other, being there for each other, caring for each other. And that should, if it doesn't, ripple throughout the entirety of the world. Just go outside and just stand there. Feel the wind on your face, hear the birds singing, or whatever it is, the crickets or something, depending on where you're listening around the world, or the cicadas. And there's just such a magic about it. And even if you go out at night and you look at the stars, have you ever seen the stars on a clear night? Oh my goodness, honest to God, I could just feel like I'm floating away to the stars because it's so beautiful and amazing. And this is it, even the full moon or looking at these things, it just brings you down to a whole new level of appreciation and understanding, and it just takes away all of the pain and the problems you have. And don't get me wrong, it takes time. It took me time to get to this kind of conscious connection with nature and this level and ideology of how we can live. It wasn't overnight, it wasn't easy, but I still managed to do it, okay? I still managed to get myself to that point where I realised the truth. That no matter where you go in the world, take humans out of the equation, it's all connected. It's all connected, it's all as one. It's all in a loving and spiritual way. And so often we're worrying about North Korea and America and England and all this other BS that's going on, instead of focusing on what's important. Having a sustainable life, having a life that helps you, and all of the people around the world that don't have what we have over here in England or the United States or France or whatever. People that don't have running water, that don't have food. Really? 2019, we don't have food? Or water, or running water, or taps, or sanitation for people? This is the thing, with the ideas of borders, what we've done is we've shut ourselves off from the truth. Right? And yeah, I know it's not you and me. For some of you listening right now, you say, well, James, that's all cute, but it's not us that created the borders. We didn't create the borders. No, I get that. But we're allowing them to stay. Right? We're allowing these borders to continue. We're allowing them to be a thing. And you see, the thing is that it's all about the connection, the conscious understanding between us as humans and everybody around us. Because as people, we are connected. Right, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, we are all connected. Some in different ways. Some of the connections are stronger than others. Some of the connections between our personalities are stronger than others, but they're still there. All right, they're still there. And when we realise that when we come together and we build followings in the millions, and we can influence people in a way that is just beautiful beyond words, that we can do anything. Okay, and it often starts with us. Right, it starts with us, it starts going out into nature and appreciating what we do have instead of what we don't have. No, I don't have a £10 million car, I don't have a £50 million house, but what I do have is priceless. This morning I was able to eat an omelette, and every time I'm eating it, I'm just thinking to myself, I'm grateful. Right, and again, some of you might know my thoughts on my feelings of being grateful, but I'm genuinely grateful for the sacrifice that was given so that I can continue to live. Some of you don't think about that. Right? You don't think about the sacrifice that was given and that was paid so that you can live. Right? And, I am a meat eater. Okay, for some of us who are meat eaters, vegans and vegetarians, this is going to be a mixed opinion between all of you. But one thing I do want you to realise, that it's irrefutable knowledge that we are killing to eat. Okay, you say, wow, we've done it for millions of years. Yeah, totally. I'm not slagging anybody off in this. Whether you eat meat or you don't meat, that's entirely up to you. But from my perspective, and something you cannot argue with, is that we still kill in order to eat. Okay, we kill animals, we have steak, we have chicken, KFC, Burger King, whatever it is, McDonald's, right? We kill to eat. And at the very minimum, we should start to spread a different conscious message to the food that we eat and be grateful for it. Right? Some of you say, James, don't be ridiculous. It's dead, right? It's dead. It's on the plate. It's dead. Yeah, okay. I get that. It might seem a little bit silly. You don't have to say it out loud. You don't have to do the religious Christian thing with it, whatever. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Just inside your head, just say thank you. Right? You say, well, James, I paid for it, so it's... Yeah, I get it. Right, it's yours. You own it now because you paid for it. But listen, just give a bit of thanks. Right? Because whatever provided its life force for you to eat that will hear it. Okay? This connection that goes on between all of us, scientifically proven. Torsion fields. Okay, torsion fields. If you want to research that, go ahead and do it. Torsion fields are real. What you think gives out. Okay, the law of attraction isn't just a cute thing. It's torsion fields. Okay, we emanate from our own brains. We are like transponders or transmitters. Sorry, we are transmitters giving off. Okay, we give off, we give out, and when you give out that gratitude, it will feel it. Okay, the earth, the universe, whatever it is, it'll feel it. Okay, and I think even in myself, in my mind, in my thought process, that in itself is something to really strive for and be happy and grateful about. That it will notice that you are happy and grateful for what you received. So listen, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed giving it. It's a really beautiful one to realise this and understand this. It's beautiful to know the connection between nature. It's beautiful to know the connection we have between one another. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget, if you haven't already, sign up to my email series, because that is completed now. It's completed. It's all good to go. It's ready for you to consume at your heart's content. And also, through that email series, you'll get access to the Temple of Wisdom Facebook group. And in that Facebook group, you'll be able to join and take part in the 30-day email series. Plus, you'll have a free present in there just for you because, well, I love you guys. So listen, take care of yourselves, guys. I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope you have a beautiful week. And I will see you in the next episode.